since I've been up in that area.
I can't wait to upload. I think when I get there.
Yeah, because I used to go through the campus there.
Well, especially on Main Street.
Yep.
If this were charging, I would get the,
It is charging. You have the little cable picture.
Nope, but it goes away.
but it goes away. Yeah. This didn't work the last time either. But I charged you the
But yeah, I thought
Okay.
there were quite a few.
I wonder if it's just a bad,
Now, I started walking this weekend. I was walking. Thinking of looking at the roads.
here,
I mean, my pet at home does that sometimes. It's like completely dead. It won't display the.
I just walked up to church.
someone else have a long one.
There should be. Matt, please feel the long charging cable in front of Daryl for me.
Long one? Huh.
yeah,
Okay.
so made it knock some sense into it.
I was walking today, I was over by the wood, walking Orchard Hill. Orchard Hill's all beat up.
Well, and then there's these chuck holes that show up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're not that big, but if we need some type of. I love that. Those things they're out of the street department.
Hello. Hi.
People get arrested.
Hi,
Hey.
how are you doing?
Good, feeling a lot better.
Good. So what,
Yeah, I got it.
How's it going?
Do you know what, my parents just had it. They went on a cruise. Hi. You made it. Got it. Last
Did
day.
make it. Don't cut me off
Look, they
for
were still testing positive last Friday. They've been home already like a week plus.
see you get started.
And it was not like great.
Good to see you.
Like it was like kind of long for them. So.
How you doing?
Well, mine
Got a new
was
one.
short.
Well, that's right.
all the
That was
posters.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Is it out there?
Crazy.
for
My
you.
wife caught it. I either got it at a funeral that we attended
That's good.
or
Let's
a
get it put to
cardiologist,
bed
which is
tomorrow.
I just
Yeah.
make sure.
It's anywhere, right?
Wait for the winter?
Yeah. We'll kind
No,
of
I
after
got
that.
some more things to
Oh,
do.
good.
A special deal for you.
I was one of
Because
those
we
people
know how
on
precious
the
your time is.
website.
You're gonna have the police department.
Hey.
How
How are you doing? How is everything? Good.
So when they stop you,
Good.
all they have to do is date.
Good.
Nice.
What are the big
You know?
things that we're talking about right now?
It's you know,
Yeah.
that kind of help. I mean, a lot of people want
Oh.
that kind
Very forward, very forward thinking.
Why?
Frank's not here for me to torment about it.
That's 64.
of. Not yet.
Yeah, I'll have to get him.
It is, was never.
I'll have to get him.
Drugs and the medical things that he has to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you're looking behind the wall, behind the curtain, it's all falling apart. In fact, we
Could be.
I was out there at a meeting
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Trying to make sure you folks at home are being entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't allow.
That was a good job.
There's only three.
They didn't all go out.
Three
So
left.
they could be attended.
Uh-huh.
Because of, so that's of power. So we had 3/4 of our money through the government.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we've got some.
They should be able to find.
Yeah, you sure do.
To get it fixed.
Okay.
Which, you know, they went back on.
Yeah.
Our bar was $60,000.
Oh, really?
He's aware of a lot of
15 weeks to wait.
No.
So plans these
Sounds about right.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
They were down 6 hours Saturday, whatever car.
Oh my gosh.
So it's things
That's
like
exciting.
next time.
You're like, okay, the next time all the doors open. Yeah. Like,
And mentioned diamond.
yeah. You know, I'm glad you said that because we changed our leadership out there. And there was kind of like a why.
I know, I missed
Like,
it.
'cause someone-
Missed it to a point.
We do go behind the scenes.
She's walking back to her car right now.
Maybe.
How you doing, Pat?
See something that's really bad.
You're a hard guy to get hold of.
They are in there for a reason.
Yeah, I am.
Now, I get the summer reading jail and stuff, or maybe the
Whenever.
I mean, that's kind of the walk. I mean, is
They're,
what
they're,
kind
them,
of
them,
facilities do we
them
have? What
guys
is
are
our,
supposed to
how does it affect our justice system?
set fires.
Yeah, the pod.
The pod, and that
Yes.
whole section's in good shape.
Yeah,
The pod is good. So
we have been in the pod.
we had, two big ones.
You're like me, I'm up to 3 phones now.
Mm-hmm.
And they say
What
phone,
time?
work
You know,
phone. Whatever time I'm
Yeah.
on.
I do like it.
4:30?
We don't know what's gonna cross.
Yeah.
We're thinking that we.
Okay.
By
So would that be a levy?
I got a new clock.
our goal is 100% safe.
So 4.
Oh, did they?
Our county has that fund.
No.
Okay.
We do it on.
Okay.
What we're hoping is that every year
They're the only one in the state.
Impersonators of
Yeah.
we're hoping.
We can apply,
shows state.
We can squeal away maybe
kind of like they do for schools.
Well,
No?
there's corruption in every aspect.
Yeah.
Well, I think that.
That's great.
So, you know, we've been knowing this for some time.
Yeah.
But it was like.
Yeah. But wait, are we gonna be taking it all down? What's it look
Well,
like?
then one thing like the meeting was like,
Yeah, he's been on.
Yeah.
He got his grandson.
put this kind of money.
Well, he was a grandson that turned out all right.
That is outdated.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Building it.
Kurt said the numbers the other day. They had about 100 extra capacity that they could have.
He did his own
There's
hitting
not
too.
theoretically what they could.
Yeah.
But,
So it's
Oh.
something, and to me, that's what that's. the
yeah,
challenge.
yeah,
Because I think we all.
yeah.
And it's, well, it'll be about 3 or 4.
Okay.
It's probably more, start from now, to finish is probably 4 days.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
we got a little time.
Yeah.
But we.
When do you guys stop? Okay. Yeah. And how many more years is that?
In the middle of
That percent's forever.
born of her appearance of the same.
And then we have to do a renewal. Okay. Well,
So
because
when
then you need to
they're
adjust.
gonna start doing the repairs, are they
Well,
cutting back? or
And
they-
we should
see.
have,
Good.
because
He's excited about it. Yeah, they might be ahead of me, so that might be the.
fields have been,
Yeah.
and
But yeah, they seemed excited about it.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
inflation cuts us to, like,
Yeah. Good.
but it's coming.
Gosh, we were out at restaurants the other day. Oh my gosh.
He was like 20,000 kids a month,
I know,
and plus the families.
yeah.
Raced her car.
Well,
We
there you
just
go.
did the thing, the winter sled thing.
Yeah,
We just did that.
The thrift, to the thrift.
Yeah, it was cute.
That was a great start. They learned a lot. And then next year, they're ready to go.
Yes.
Whoever emailed you did.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I specifically asked Nuisance so that I knew, had details of the deal.
Okay.
They called us.
That's right.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
What you got
yeah.
excited for was the gas valve, or natural gas valve.
On the outside.
Yeah, and they spend it, and then they go to our restaurants, and sure, we can't get it all ways. Yes, very, very much. Well, good. Okay, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Like, we can stop by.
How we doing?
All right.
How you doing?
That's where that one's going.
Well, and somebody, I guess he was waiting for somebody to call.
They're waiting for the letter.
I see.
Making my rounds again. Yeah. Hard to do.
Okay.
I've been trying to get my rounds in and they're
Interesting. So he works at
so she's here.
that slide.
Okay.
Is that this week?
Hey, how's it going? Good, how about yourself? Good to see you. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Support the library.
Oh, well, you need that. Oh, that's good. Thanks for coming.
How's it going? Good to see you. So how you been?
You're sterilizing my jacket. Exactly.
So you're keeping this. Oh yeah. Kids are.
No, it's fine.
I've worked in a few years. We started with this just a few months after. I don't
Push it similar to push.
Okay. Okay. I got you. That's up to you, buddy.
Yep. No, that didn't happen. I will excerpt.
Then move on. No. I agree.
Oh, well, okay.
I haven't got
I agree.
No, but I could do it.
If you want to stay in business, that's fine.
You're looking well.
Thanks, Troy. Thank you, Troy. You're getting your. Are you working? Podcast.
You public info.
Are you getting the net?
Yes, I will. Yeah, I will.
We see the attendance here.
Yeah. I never thought that would happen. I've been putting into this.
They did, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Wait, oh, you'll do great.
Yeah, they've been here now about a little over a year, I think.
I didn't think I had.
Well, you know, I have another laptop too.
I can see them saying. I can see him saying. And then he gets wow, that must be good. Because they're the mom.
Okay.
And the guy
You're
goes,
like me.
this is what he told us. And then Tessie was just
Yeah.
It's a great, it's a classic.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Was
Currently, our code enforcement strategy is again, and admin still owes me one back for the one that I've done.
I figured they would get better.
I noticed that. This is the smallest signing. And then I have to switch completely off. Anything new, any signing?
They didn't have it, they were going portable on any device.
No, it was on.
Yeah.
He had like turned on.
Yeah, I'll go to work. They don't have to.
Explain to me what it all is, before it's going to be. So she was aware of
Right.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm sure I know that.
Well, you look almost like him.
Oh, no.
He just, the reason I came up, the last couple of days, his name was so rich
What's his name?
Gabby Hayes. That's the part he played.
I dated Dave.
You know, so his
You know, Bill,
acting career.
Bill, if you want to
He
make
got
that
up.
advice, just search when you come in.
It's kind of.
It is. I don't want you to
I was a little
feeling
surprised I
that you
didn't.
didn't receive everyone's attention.
Yeah.
As much work as shaving every day.
He doesn't know about that. Hayes, I think he is.
Actually, get a mental health check just to make sure you're.
Why you were here.
Yeah, nothing happened.
It's gotta get a little longer. A little longer.
Did you find him?
Yeah.
Don't you think it's a pretty close resemblance?
Yeah, but it's gonna cost us money.
Yeah.
Like, that's the annoying part.
Is that where we are? Yeah, 40. I can see.
When's that gonna come back?
It's 2 to 3 months. So yeah, it's very double vision right now. So getting migraines.
All I'm gonna tell you is this, when I walked in, I told me Jessica. I hope that vision is restored quickly.
That's not gonna leave my head. That's
It's an ugly thought.
I now call to order the City Council meeting of February 13th, 2023. The time is 7 p.m. Opening prayer. Darrell.
Thank you very much. Please rise for the prayer and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty God, Creator of the universe, we humbly ask that you grant this body discernment and wisdom. Strengthen us so we have the persistence to identify opportunities and the courage to address our most difficult challenges. We ask this in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Matheny?
Here.
Member Wyrick?
Here.
Member McLeister?
Here.
Member Waring?
Here.
Member Stroya?
Here.
Member Volt?
Here.
Member Orr?
Here.
7 present.
Okay. For your consideration, can I have a motion and a second to approve as presented minutes from January 23rd, 2023, both committee and council, the January 2023 finance report, and the codification updates for chapters 1125, 1133, 1136, and 1151.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we're going to have a special presentation from the North Canton Public Library. So, Andrew.
Okay, hello and good evening. My name is Andrea Lay. I'm director of the North Canton Public Library. And since I began this position in 2020, I have had the opportunity to meet most of you in person. But for those of you who I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, it is very nice to see you this evening. And I want to thank you for making room in the agenda for me, since I know you're very busy and have a lot to discuss tonight. So I worked a long time at the library system in Tuscarawas County prior to coming to North Canton. And one of my annual responsibilities in the first quarter of each year was to visit each of our village councils to provide an overview of what the library had accomplished in the year prior, to share our goals for the upcoming year, and to thank each village for its support. So of course, North Canton is much larger than the smaller villages in Tuscarawas County, but I saw the benefit in these regular connections between the library and its governing entities, so I wanted to start something similar here. So I've provided each of you with copies of our 2022 annual report, our strategic plan spanning 2023 through 2026, and our program guide that is filled with events and resources for community members of all ages. So first I'm going to just go over the annual report. I wanted to highlight the numbers that were the most significant to us. We added 2,351 new library card holders, and that puts our total library card holder number at over 40,000. We saw 122,241 visitors to our building last year, and we checked out 719,326 materials. About 117 of those were digital, and then over 600,000 of those were physical, books, DVDs, CDs, things like that. We also saw over 22,000 community members attend our programs, and those are held within the library building and then also out in our community too. On the reverse side of the report is a month-by-month summary of some of the goals that we accomplished last year, and those highlights included a Wi-Fi upgrade throughout our building, the installation of both a story walk and a little free library at Dogwood Park, thanks to our partnership with the city, of course. The launch of a twice-weekly series of senior programs at our North Canton Civic Center, also a product of our partnership with the city, so thank you for giving us that opportunity. We received a custom-built outreach vehicle, and we created and implemented a 3-year strategic plan. And we wrote that plan based on the data that we received from a community survey that we issued at the beginning of 2022, and we got almost 1,000 responses to that. So that's a perfect segue into the next document, which is an overview of our 2023-2026 strategic plan. So with the feedback that we received from the community survey, we worked with our library board, and our president, Nancy Beinlich, is actually here tonight. We worked with our board, our staff, and our management team to develop a responsive outline to help guide us into the next 3 years of service. So we clarified our mission and our vision. We identified the 4 core values that we wanted our organization to focus on, and then we outlined 4 goals to steer us ahead. We want to create the ultimate customer experience. We want to enhance the functionality and accessibility of our building, and we hope to accomplish that through an aesthetic renovation and reorganization of our furnishings. We want to build on community relationships and engagement, and we want to seek new avenues for financial sustainability through grant writing and other opportunities for revenue. So in 2023, we are hoping to launch a phased renovation project that will improve all 3 floors of our building over the next 3 years. We hope to begin offering passport processing services. We know that there's only 1 location in the city of North Canton, and they're only open until 3 each day that process passports, so I think that'll be great for our community. And we're also working to upgrade our online catalog, among many other things.
I'm sorry.
Online catalog.
Thank you.
So we wouldn't be nearly as successful if we didn't have the strong support of our community and our city. So thank you everybody on council for all the ways you've helped us grow and the way you've collaborated with us. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I will make, if I can, just a very, very quick comment. You might recognize this.
I do.
I'm in regularly, and I think it's
It's done.
no, it's a real life library card.
That's what mine used to look like.
But I think, you know, when you come up here, and I think you made a very nice presentation. And while we don't have a lot of comments, I think it's important that you walk out of here, leave here tonight, knowing that we value your institution as a community asset. I'm in regularly. I think you've got a terrific staff up there that's customer-oriented and friendly. I see kids moving in and out all the time with arms full of books. It frankly doesn't get much better than that. And as a taxpayer-funded entity, I think it's evident that the library and its staff are worth the public funds that are devoted to it. So I want to thank you, and I think I speak for everybody else. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so at this time, we'll have recognition of the public. Anyone wishing to speak may do so. You will be given 5 minutes. Comments will be under any topic today. The rules will be listed on both screens, and your time as well. This will serve as the only warning and for everyone in attendance tonight, and any violation of the rules will result in ejection from the premises. Anyone wanting to speak on any topic tonight, please approach the podium.
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. At last Tuesday's special council meeting, North Canton's most senior member of council led the verbal assault on 2 highly respected Stark County institutions, the Board of Elections and the County Prosecutor's Office. And amazingly, the members of council who were present blindly lent their support and voted to spend thousands of tax dollars to take this issue to the Common Pleas Court. Why not simply admit the city made mistakes and move on? Council should be asking why the ballot language was sent to the Board of Elections just days before the deadline. North Canton street and sewer ballot issues were not the only ballot issues the Board of Elections and the Prosecutor's Office would have to review. If one waits until near the filing deadline, there are no mulligans if there are problems. Was this hubris on the part of North Canton's council clerk and law director? With regard to North Canton's council clerk, I have remarked on occasion that he was hired for the position knowing he had limited training or experience. Although quite brilliant with today's technology, his in-depth IT knowledge does not make up for a lack of specific training and experience as a municipal council clerk. With regards to North Canton's law director, he is with a well-known Canton law firm comprised of 52 attorneys. Out of all these attorneys in the firm, and possibly other attorneys he knows, why wouldn't he have taken the time to consult with someone who has the needed expertise to navigate the pitfalls of ballot language? The Ohio Secretary of State has a 349-page guide to placing questions and issues on the ballot. This publication serves as a statewide resource for boards of elections, taxing authorities, and political subdivisions. It is titled Ohio Ballot Questions and issues handbook. It would be a helpful resource. Council should be asking why both the council clerk and the law director did not run the language by the Board of Elections long before the February 1st, 2023 filing deadline, when the Board of Elections would be reviewing multitudes of ballot issues from other communities. Mr. Revolt, blaming the Stark County Prosecutor's Office and Prosecutor Kyle Stone, is not going to remedy the city's failed ballot language. Mr. Stroya, your statement that the policy followed by the Board of Elections and the prosecutor is broken is not correct. The problem is that the ballot language did not comply with the law. I do not believe the city will prevail in the courts. Further, taxpayers should not have to incur legal fees to learn this fact. Should North Canton not prevail, the city should act against the errors and omissions insurance maintained by the law firm of Krugliak, Wilkins, Griffiths, and Daugherty to recoup the tax revenue that the road and sewer levies would have generated. Lastly, it is my observation that Mr. Revolt did not have a good week when at Monday night's council meeting he disparaged citizens with verbal assaults, calling them liars. Then the following night at Tuesday's special council meeting, Mr. Revolt disparaged the Stark County Prosecutor's Office and the county prosecutor, Kyle Stone. The city of North Canton does not need this kind of leadership. With this kind of rhetoric becoming routine with you, I would encourage you to consider resigning from office, just as you have done several times in your North Canton political career. Thank you.
Anyone else wanting to address council tonight? Okay, last call.
Let's do this over there.
Please, the person voting. Sorry, I can't see that far. Thank you for pointing that out.
Hi, I'm Susan Meadows, 232 6th Street, Northeast, North Canton. I was wondering, I have a question. If there's any way that the council or the city could set up a program for CPR training. I've seen a lot of things on TV about CPR. I took a CPR class years ago, so I won't remember much of anything, what the new stuff is. And whether we have there's little pads you have to put on the sides of people, do we have those? And where do you get them? And does everybody need them? So I was wondering if we could do a CPR class. Someone would have to be a big room, but I think it would be very helpful for the citizens of the town. And that's it.
Thank you, President. May I request permission to respond?
Sure.
We do have CPR classes offered through our fire and EMS department. They're certified by the American Red Cross to teach them. I believe they're.
I think she asked where, I'm sorry.
Oh, they're taught at Fire Station 2.
Okay.
They're through our fire department. I believe they're $25 a person. $4? $40.
Well, if we do it,
$40.
we can do it for free.
Anyone else wanting to address council tonight?
I was just going to add that in regards to
Okay.
the defibrillating devices, yes, that we have them, we've installed them throughout the city, although there is a nationwide shortage of those, so some of them are still on back order.
Okay, moving on. Moving on to old business. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 11-2023?
An ordinance to recodify the provisions of Chapter 1172, Schedule of Fees, subsections 1172.01A through H, of the codified ordinances of the City of North Canton, which establish fees for building permits, plan reviews, and other related services from their current placement in the City of North Canton zoning code to more appropriate placement in the City of North Canton building code.
Okay, Community and Economic Development.
Thank you very much. As the short title suggests, as we discussed earlier, this is a recodification. This is a technical move. We're picking up language from one section and placing it in another. It's important to note that while we are making this relocation, we are not raising fees. Questions or comments? Move we adopt the second reading of ordinance 11-23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, Ben, would you please read the title of Resolution 12-2023?
A resolution endorsing and adopting the final draft of the 2023 master plan for the City of North Canton.
Darren, would you?
Thank you very much. As we all know, we had some discussion regarding this at our last meeting. Made an amendment to it, deleting that portion that dealt with some rezoning issues. Before we adopt it, I do want to return to a theme that I raised the other night. And it's not one that necessarily needs to be included in a master plan before we give it a third and final reading. But as you may recall, I took a look at the list of rental properties up on 5th and 6th Street. And then I went down and wandered through John Orr's ward, Lipton, Castlewood, and Elmwood. I think this is an issue that, while it may not be in our master plan, is one that we should look at down the road. On Elmwood, 33% of the properties, single-family homes, are rentals. On Lipton, it's 25%. And over on Castlewood, it's 19%. Now, my numbers and Ben's, we're off just a little bit, but the numbers are trending up, not down. And if you drive through those areas, it's fairly easy to distinguish which are the owner-occupied homes and those which are rentals. And the rentals range from slightly tired to really decrepit. And it places a real challenge. It's going to be a challenge for our building people to get these things underway. Many, but not all of these properties are owned by individuals, not corporations, thank goodness, but individuals who live outside North Canton, but in the community. So that may help us a little bit. But as we look at our master plan, somewhere down over the horizon, this is an issue that I would hope council would look at. So, having said that, I move that we adopt the second reading of Resolution 12-23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ben, would you please read the title of Resolution 15-2023?
A resolution appointing Terrence Seeberger as North Canton's representative to the Stark County Board of Health for a 5-year term beginning March 1st, 2023 and ending February 28th, 2028.
Okay, Personnel and Safety, David.
Mr. Seeberger has been a part of the Stark County Board of Health representing North Canton for many years and enjoys that and would like to continue his service. See no questions or comments in the past. Are there any tonight?
Record should note he's done an excellent job.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, make a motion that we approve the second reading of Resolution 12-2023.
Revolt seconds.
15.
My apologies. Thank you. Amend that to Resolution 15-2023.
And I will second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 18-2023?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton to enter into an agreement with the Stark County Commissioners for the relocation and replacement of city water lines as part of the Commissioners' Pittsburgh Avenue, Mount Pleasant Street roundabout project and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Okay, rubbish committee, Jamie.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. We talked about this at our committee meeting. This is a situation where other entities are tearing up roads. The roads will be able to access our water lines in there and replace them at the time and kind of save money and work together on a project. I don't know if there's any other comments, Patrick?
Yeah, I would just like to make a note to be thankful to the county commissioners, and Commissioner Bill Smith is here this evening, to say to you directly, sir, that we appreciate your office and your team working with our team and being able to address these water line issues prior to your final construction of your project so that we don't mess it up. And I take note of the announcement that was in the repository over the weekend with the another phase going out in the Belton Village area in 2025 and 6, I believe. So I put our staff on notice today to make sure that they're dialoguing with all of you on that. So thank you.
Perfect, and great collaboration on both sides. So, any other questions, comments? So at this point, I would move that we adopt ordinance 18-2023.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 18-2023 under suspension of the rules?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ben, would you please read the title of ordinance 22-2023?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton, on behalf of the city of North Canton, to enter into an agreement to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation's Cooperative Purchasing Program to contract for the purchase of sodium chloride for the 2023-2024 winter season and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Okay, this is my committee, and this is the ODOT purchasing program for rock salt. We're getting a head start on it, so if we're going to approve this by emergency, and then we'll be able to pull the trigger on the program as it actually opens up. So
Very routine.
yes, it is. Any other comments? I move that we adopt this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Motion to suspend?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2022-2023 under suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's go to Patrick.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple quick items. I'd like to first say that we're moving along with our architects on 2 projects. One is the Children's Pavilion at Dogwood Park. So we're finishing up some renditions there, and hopefully we'll have something to you soon to take a look at. And trying to keep everything within our budget, which so far so good. And then also the second project, the Dogwood Pool House. So we hope to be able to get some final renderings of that shortly, and then get some preliminary cost estimates, and then out to bid. Our goal will be to bid this out in June sometime, and then open bids shortly thereafter, with demolition to begin after Labor Day when the pool closes. and then hopefully have a shell up by winter and the interior finished by spring and open for Memorial Day. So we think we're still on track there. Also, not related to those two things, but just related to costs in general, met with our management team at the Y, at Dogwood Pool, which is the Y, MCA of Central Stark County, and discussed with them, how things are looking for this coming year. We know that we've got notable cost challenges in chemicals for the pool, including chlorine. Our water treatment plant superintendent, still hasn't ruled out the possibility there could be shortages of chlorine, and we've been put on notice by the federal government that water treatment plants will come first, as they should, and if pools have it, they have it, and if not, they don't. So we're still kind of playing that by ear. But we know the costs are going to be higher, and the costs for our CO2, and then as a result, labor costs. It's very difficult to qualify people as lifeguards and concessionaires and that kind of thing. But we're going to go through it. So we're recommending a rate adjustment across the board of 5%. I think is enough to get us there through this year, while many other places have had significantly more increases. The Y feels fairly comfortable with the cost structure that they've been managing, but this will get them through. So I'll put that out to you in an email with all the different brackets, because there's we get over 62 gets a lesser rate than this, and inside the city, outside the city, kind of thing. So I'll get that, but roughly it's a 5% across the board. That concludes my report.
I had a quick question. On the pavilion for Dogwood Park, is a location been picked for that?
Yeah, right now we're looking at the place where the skate park was and the basketball court, and that part of that is that Stark Soil and Water would require us, if we located it on the west side of the park, to put in additional retention basins on that side of the park. And so we were looking for a better workaround, and we came up with on the east side in those areas, and that would not require us to do any additional retention work, because we already have the ones we put in for Dogwood Playgrounds, plus the original one that was there from years gone by that would serve that need. Then we would restore to grass the basketball court and the skate park. But it would be built on that place and then expand the parking off of Dogwood Avenue.
I know with the Dogwood Park, we had a lot of donations for the playground equipment and stuff. Have we looked into getting any private donations for that?
For this pavilion, this is going to be funded by the Akron Children's Hospital Pavilion grant that we've received of $250,000. So we're trying to stay within that budget. The first couple iterations that we have of it, we don't feel, given global supply chain issues, were causing certain materials to be priced a little too high. So we've opted to redesign it to not use certain materials, so that it'll still look pleasing, serve its purpose, but still keep it within the cost structure that we can afford at this time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Patrick. It's the gym over there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, go for it.
All right. So obviously it's the beginning of the year, so there's not a lot to report on, but Gina and I will continue to monitor the financial position of the city over the coming months. I think it's important to note that we combine the general fund and income tax together into the reports for all of the years, so you can kind of see it shows the general fund and income together. So on another note, in finance and utilities, we're excited to be bringing on this MuniLink new software for utility billing. It's going to help out with the efficiency. It just looks to be a beautiful software for us on our end, and then on the residents, and it's going to be a lot more easy to maneuver. People they can pay by their phones. They can pay by phone. The customer service is supposed to be really good. It's called Invoice Cloud. So we're super excited for that, and we're hoping to actually start that April 18, middle of April. So that's coming down the pipeline, and so we will be getting out flyers to residents and whatnot to let them know that this change is coming. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. The mayor's not here, but Ben, I'll have you read, he's got a proclamation to issue.
So the mayor asked for me to share a proclamation recognizing George William Senior. Mr. Senior was born on February 22nd, 1923, and will therefore be turning 100 in about 9 days. Mr. Senior served as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II, flying P-51 Mustangs with the 356 Fighter Group. He flew a total of 35 missions over Nazi Germany. Upon returning to civilian life, he completed his mechanical engineering degree, continued to serve in the Air Force Reserve, and joined one of Northeast Ohio's largest general contractors. His notable projects, he built 37 schools across Stark, Carroll, and Tuscarawas counties, the Canton Natatorium, Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospital, and even worked on the Canton, North Canton Civic Center that you are all sitting in today.
Cool.
In addition, Mr. Senior and his wife have been community and civic leaders, philanthropists, and board members to many nonprofits and dedicated North Canton residents. The mayor wishes him a happy 100th birthday.
Awesome.
I love that.
All right, Ben, Council Clerk, go for it, your report.
For my report, I just wanted to touch a little on rental registration, as we are officially past the deadline and the grace period for anybody out there who still needs to register. Just a little look at how the program is going. We sent out a total of 998 notification letters to believed rental properties throughout the city, and as of today, just 83 have not responded to the letters.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So we are overwhelmingly receiving voluntary compliance with the letters, and as of 3 hours ago, there were exactly 1,040 rental units registered in the system.
That's great. Way to go.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
That's my report.
All right, thank you, that's fantastic. Council reports, Jamie.
All right, well, first off, I wanted to thank Andrea for coming this evening. So it was a great report, and great to hear how you guys are doing. And I like seeing the van out there.
Yeah.
I've seen it a couple times now. I think, does it live here or something? But for now, so it's nice to see it and looks great. So also, Mrs. Meadows, great idea about CPR training. I think the extent of, I was CPR certified at one point in time. And sadly, I think the extent of my CPR knowledge at this point is that one episode of The Office, which is hilarious. By the way, go look up that episode of CPR. But and I do remember it. What is it? It's staying alive. Yeah. So I think that's about the rate to go. But great idea. So maybe I'll join you in a class. So
Okay.
And I do have information for you.
perfect. Also, I'm very excited this evening because the Utilities Committee has a report, and I think I'd like to rename us to the Water, Sewer, Rubbish, and E-Recycling Committee, if that's all right. So shortly after I started, I received a communication from Summit E-Waste Recycling Solutions and passed them off to Patrick, who got them set up over at the old post office. So it's been, actually, they say the first 6 months. Any guesses on, well, I guess that's not fair. It was already up on the city Facebook page, so I'll just tell you, 2,300 pounds of e-waste that we have saved from going into the landfill, which I think is fantastic in 6 months. I would not have guessed that when I first reached out. So,
that was the last 6 months of 2022.
Oh, those are the last 6 months of 2022. Yeah. So okay. So perfect. Yeah. I guess what I have is incorrect. So last 6 months of 2022. So fantastic, and I think it's great that we're saving keeping that stuff out of the landfill. So that's all I had this evening.
All right, thank you. Ward 2, David.
Do not have a report this week for safety and employees. I will pass it on to Ward 3.
Okay. Ward 3, Stephanie.
I do not have a report, but Andrea, it was great to have you here. And I just read all the time, so thank you for providing that service and just all the different things that the library is just not for just one item anymore. You're just such a community outreach, so thank you for all that you do.
All right, Ward 4, John.
Yeah, again, thank you, Andrea. Thank you for my help with my wife at the middle school. She appreciates all the help that the library's given us. Just a small report. I want to thank Daryl for walking some of my ward and getting some of those addresses. The weekend was great, so I got out and walked the ward a little bit. And I've been taking down some notes on different roads. As you know, the roads, some are great, some are bad. And I'm making down some notes on where we can maybe make some repairs that might not be that costly. Because if you walk up and down your road, you'll see these chuck holes in the middle, you'll see a lot of lineage and stuff, and that's the time we really need to look at. So I challenge you guys to get out there and walk and maybe make a list of roads, and it would be something, we might not have the budget in it right now, but in the future, we're gonna need it done. And I think Patrick would thank you on that. Other than that, that's my only report.
All right, Daryl.
Just echoing John, thank you. I think as I walk around, I'm struck by the amount of road deterioration that's occurred that will not respond to a simple patch. There are stretches of streets that will have to be completely redone at some point, probably sooner rather than later. And I think it's the purpose of our discussion is that we're going to have a real challenge because the need is going to outstrip the means.
I might just add to just put it on council's notes. Certainly, anything that you can get us, we'll certainly work with Matt Morrow, our street superintendent, to see if any of these places might be suitable for the machine that council purchased. We're waiting for the asphalt plants to open a little early, but you wouldn't know that with the weather that we're having out there, not simulated wood product as best as possible. But to that end, I asked the superintendent if he could see to it that in the next week or so, if we could get the street sweeper out on Main Street. You know, I'm not sure that we're going to have the kind of weather that normally we wait till April to run that, because we expect still large amounts of snow and snow plowing and that kind of thing. But I'm of the opinion that we may, that may not come to pass. So if we're going to have a stretch of really good weather here for the next week or so, it may not always be 71 degrees this week, but if it's dry like it has been, that we take advantage of doing that. And there is a stretch on Main Street on the west side, north of Viking, in front of Randy's Automotive and the next few places up, where the curb and gutter and the street are kind of failing there. That is a project that we had budgeted for this spring, so I wanted to let you know that is being administered to.
Anything else, Daryl? All right, Christina.
Also like to thank Andrea for being here. I'm clearly very proud of the work that our library does and just grateful for Andrea's leadership. A lot of new things have happened since 2020 when she came on board, and we're lucky to have her. And then I just also like to add that our council clerk, Ben Young, I think is brilliant far beyond his technology knowledge. And I just think it's important that we continue to celebrate and encourage and try to retain young talent here. So I will always speak up when it's called for.
Ditto.
All right. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Andrea. we are very lucky to have the North Canton Public Library. It is a phenomenal place, and as Daryl touched on, I love that my son gets excited to go to that library. So there's so many more services than just library. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, I took Aiden there, and they had sleds, which I think is the coolest thing. That's great. I mean, I also want to stand up for Ben. I'm not going to go into the details, but I think I think everybody's burned out and saying that he's not educated as a clerk. It's
So
a little old by now. I mean, good Lord.
You don't even acknowledge it.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's it. I wanted to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, Bill, for coming out. And I wanted to say buy and support local as much as you can. The upcoming meeting calendar, we will not have a meeting this coming Monday. That is President's Day. And then we will have a regular city council meeting on February the 27th. And with that being said, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourn.
Mr. Smith, what brings you here?
Just visiting.
Oh, okay. Did you move to North Canton?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
You like living down in Canton.
Oh yeah.
So they pretty much do.
Everything going okay? I haven't heard anything blow up. I mean, you know what? I missed the news about Tuscarawas County. I missed that. Because I realized that when we had that situation in New Philly with that kid bringing the gun to school. You hear about that? There was a kid caught with a gun at the New Philly Middle School.